What are some of the tips to save money with a production, whether it's hiring less crew or certain locations?
Um, it really comes, someone has to do with the story. I would say, like this film I did, The Mason Brothers, was very few locations. I had 2 locations, that's it. So the film takes all place in a big caliber shop, but there's multiple rooms there. And then there's this other mansion that took place at, so that instead of having like some scripts have like 20 locations, we didn't have that. We had multiple locations, but they were condensed into one area. So instead of having like 20 different like outdoor locations, we had to travel. I mean, that's a lot of money and a lot of time, because the crew has to pick up and travel to their location, and you're running short on time, and then paying for the other locations unless you get them for free. So like that's huge. There's other things you can do with just, some people let you shoot for free, kind of like I mentioned before, at like their place or their restaurant or something, put a nice nostalgic shot of their restaurant to help market maybe their restaurant, but you can use it, on the house on them. So yeah, that, and it depends on the caliber. I mean, there's some movies where you need a bigger crew. Like you're gonna need, it's helpful to have more cameras, a B-roll, and more sound guys and stuff, but there's certain instances where you don't need that. And for my stuff, it was pretty simple. Like I used a lot of the same overhead lighting effects, and some of it's kind of simple setups for the most part. Not really, but I mean, you don't need tons and tons of people. So there's different ways you can, lower your budget.
So for the Mason Brothers, what do you think you could have maybe scaled back on? Was there anything that you said, you know what, we probably should have done this and then we could have saved some money, or?
Not much really. I thought about that. I've thought about that even after I made it. I was like, what can I have done to save more money? I can't really think of much, because I thought everything we did was pretty small scale. I didn't have like a 9-person camera department and like all these grips, like I said, and gaffers and sound people. And I thought we did okay with the marketing. We marketed it pretty well. I put a lot of marketing in the print and advertising, the marketing, obviously. I put a lot of money in there, that's where a lot of marketing should go, in my opinion. So yeah, and they had some favors done with some locations that I knew some of the people, and we were able to shoot there for next to nothing. So yeah, I don't know. There's not really much. I've thought about it. Really, there's not much I really think of.
So it's pretty scaled down.
It was. Like, okay. I tried to really logistically make this like, as cheap end that I can make. Not cheap, but make it not a huge expensive movie. Was like over $1 million some for a first feature.
Do you remember watching it at the Egyptian? What that was like?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, it was a unique experience. I mean, you had a lot of family and friends were there, so a lot of people were clapping like when the name of their family member came in the screen, which is cool in the beginning. Everyone was like clapping in certain parts, because when you watch it at the other theaters, no one claps at the beginning. So it's, like, I mean, they're not like it was at the premiere, because you have, like I said, friends and family were clapping at certain credits coming to the screen. And the Egyptian's a huge theater. It's like 616 seats, and the screen's massive, and it's really nice. And the surround sound system's phenomenal. I mean, Alien from 1979, really Scott's movie, premiered there. So watching that with the music and the amount of people and people clapping, that was pretty cool. Really cool experience, because it's a product you made, with your team and stuff. Seeing it on a big screen in Hollywood, Hollywood. So one of the top 3 best theaters in the world, in my opinion, is.
Did people get appropriately spooked or laughed or whatever different things happen at different scenes like you thought they would, or were there moments where someone actually had a reaction that you didn't think they would have?
Yeah, I mean, they laughed at certain parts what I thought they would, and there's some parts that they laughed at what I didn't think they would necessarily, which was good. I mean, it shows, because the movie for the most part is a pretty serious movie tone. It's like maybe like a Heat. It's pretty serious. It's not like a lighthearted movie at all.
Sure.
So and there's some scenes, there's like a couple torture scenes where I thought people would be more like, in awe by, or more reactions to. But there was reactions, but I thought there'd be more people like saying stuff or something during the film. But it turned out well overall.